The 757 has a four-wheel truck on each main landing gear and a dual-wheel nose gear. The landing gear is powered by the left hydraulic system. Air-ground logic is provided by gear tilt sensors on the main gear and sensors on the nose gear. The controls and indicators for the landing gear are located on the center instrument panel. Now let's move to normal operations. 3 green gear indicator lights show the gear is down and locked. A landing gear limit placard displays the airspeed limits for the gear. The gear position is controlled by a 3-position lever. Pulling the gear lever out, then up, initiates the retraction sequence. Throughout the retraction sequence, messages are inhibited to allow for normal operation. The gear light will illuminate first to indicate disagreement between the gear lever and actual gear position. Then the doors light illuminates as the gear doors open. The green gear indicator lights extinguish as the gear leave their down and locked position. The gear light extinguishes when the gear is up and locked. And finally, the doors light extinguishes when the doors are up and locked. The system is depressurized by moving the gear lever to the off position. Mechanical up locks hold the main gear and doors in the up position. An over-center lock holds the nose gear in the up position. Landing gear extension is initiated by pulling the gear lever out and down. The light sequence is the reverse of the retraction sequence. Now let's look at abnormal operations. Should the left hydraulic system fail, the alternate gear extension system can be activated by a guarded switch located below the landing gear lever. Prior to activation, the gear lever must be placed to off to depressurize the landing gear system. This will preclude any interference during the extension sequence. Next, open the black guard and momentarily move the alternate gear extension switch to down. This activates a small DC electric-driven hydraulic pump, which uses trapped hydraulic fluid to release the doors and gear uplocks. The doors light illuminates as the gear doors open, followed by gear light illumination as the gear free falls, aided by gravity and air loads. The green indicator lights illuminate when the gear is down and locked. However, the doors light remains illuminated and the gear doors remain open. Finally, the gear light extinguishes when the gear lever is placed down. When the aircraft is on the ground, or when the main gear trucks do not tilt after takeoff, a lever lock prevents the gear lever from being moved to up. pushing and holding the lever lock override switch manually releases the lever lock so the gear lever may then be raised to the up position. Click on both the switch and gear lever to initiate gear retraction. ICAST messages associated with the landing gear are time delayed to allow for normal gear operation. The Gear Disagree caution message appears if actual gear position and gear lever position do not agree. The Gear Doors Advisory message appears should any door fail to close or lock. Now let's move on to 767 landing gear differences. On all 767s, the center hydraulic system powers the landing gear system. On the 767, only the doors have uplocks. The main gear do not have uplocks and are held up by the doors. The alternate extension system has several differences. While the 75 uses a DC electric-driven hydraulic pump for gear extension, the 767 uses a DC electric motor. The electric motor utilizes mechanical linkage to trip the nose gear uplock and unlocks the main gear doors. The weight of the gear forces the doors open. After the gear is down, the main gear doors will remain open if center hydraulic pressure is not available to close the doors. The nose gear doors are mechanically operated and will open and close as the gear extends. The last difference applies to the 300 and ER. Both have a retractable tail skid powered by the center hydraulic system. A tail skid light illuminates to indicate disagreement between the gear lever and actual tail skid position. The light extinguishes when the tail skid position agrees with the command position. Without center hydraulic pressure available, the tail skid will not extend or retract. A tail skid advisory message and tail skid light will appear after a time delay if the tail skid and gear lever positions do not agree.